Hey guys, welcome to the All Sports Pass Podcast North. My name is Eli, I'm your host, and welcome back to another video. Where today I'm going to be covering the Tennessee Volunteers taking on the Alabama Crimson Tide, and this is a game preview, just FYI. Before we get into this video, I just want to say continue to keep the hurricane victims from Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton in your prayers still, in your thoughts and prayers as well. And also, speaking of that, here's the verse of the day. Today's verse comes from Isaiah 40:31, and it says, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." And before we get in this video, like and subscribe for more college football content. And without further ado, let's begin. So let's start off with Tennessee. And Tennessee, they did win against Florida, and of course that's a big win, mostly because it's a rivalry game, but also because really they had to beat Florida. Because they didn't, then it could have meant that they weren't gonna make the playoffs this year. Now, it wasn't the prettiest win, as it was a 23-17 overtime win against Florida. But hey, I think a win's a win, and I will say that. But however, there are still some things that I think that they really need to work on, and as well as the fact that Tennessee was even down 10-0, heading into the third quarter, and then they start coming back and they end up winning this game. But however, they nearly. I will say this, it was an overtime thriller, an overtime nail-biter. And let me tell you this. For Tennessee heading into this game, of course, they're coming off a loss to Arkansas. And I really think that for Tennessee, there's still some stuff. Now, I did see a little bit of improvement on the offensive line, but however, the defensive line just went strong. But, and as well as the fact, of course, James Pierce Jr., of course, getting a fumble on the goal line, and then, of course, unfortunately, they just weren't able to convert, as on that drive, Nico Iamaleava threw an interception. And now, of course, I do think that, now, yes, I'm still talking about Tennessee, but for some reason it just put it on Florida. Sorry, we're not talking about Florida just yet. But James Pierce Jr. was able to recover a fumble at the Tennessee 1-yard line. At the Florida 1-yard line. And now, of course, Nico threw an interception on this one, but still, it still kind of showed that the defensive line still refuses to lose in situations like this. Now, and of course, Nico did not throw a touchdown this game, but he went 16-26 for 169 yards, which is an average of 6.5 yards. He had an interception. He had a 17.5 quarterback rating. And let me tell you this, that for Tennessee, I just think that there's been too many mistakes offensively. And, of course, one of them is a fumble that Florida recovered. And of course, Tennessee was heading into halftime, Tennessee was down 3-0, and then and sorry guys, sorry if I kind of mix up the events here. Hey, I'm doing a double upload tonight, so that just FYI. But however, for Florida though, after a touchdown to make it 10-0, Graham Mertz went down, and it looks like he was on crutches. So, of course, it's looking like he's done for the season. But I will say this, that I think Florida has a good quarterback in DJ Lagway, but it's going to be interesting to see how he can step up. And let me see. So, and hold on, guys, let me see here. When I said done for the season, I was just hearing what I kind of said on TV. I could be wrong. Let me take a look here. Okay. Yeah, I was hearing something else. Sorry. Hey, listen. Sometimes you make mistakes. Podcasters are known to can make mistakes from time to time. So just bear with me. Show me some grace. But it says he's undergoing testing and the status is unknown. But however, and there's also another one here that that I'm trying to figure out his. I'm trying to find it. Hold on. Montrell Johnson Jr. also injured, and I do think that, of course, that these two are big losses for Florida. And as Montrell was their leading rusher, and now I do think that, of course, Tennessee, however, is also without lineman Keenan Peely. And as of this video, there's been no update on his condition, but it appears to be a right leg injury. So there's really no telling if he'll be back or if he's done for the season. But, however, it's going to be interesting to see, and we'll have to, unfortunately, wait because as of this recording, there's nothing on it, nothing on his condition. But, however, for Tennessee, this defense was able to step up when needed. Of course, even getting an interception, Arian Carter getting an interception, that drive ended up having Tennessee tie the game. And then Tennessee ended up going up 17-10. Heading into the final couple quarters of the game. Hold on. Sorry. I accidentally closed it. Heading into the fourth quarter, Tennessee was able to get a 17-10 lead over Florida. And then 29 seconds left in regulation, Florida's able to get a touchdown. And they decide to go for the PAT to force overtime. And now Tennessee had a chance to win this game in regulation, but unfortunately just couldn't get down the field fast enough, so they went to overtime. But in overtime, Florida missed a kick after a great defensive performance. And then Tennessee, all they had to do was score, and that's what they did. Dylan Sampson, guy already had 3 touchdowns that night. Last night, and he ends up getting the touchdown and the win for the Volunteers. And now it's going to see how Tennessee can do now. And I do think that, of course, the defense has been solid, but the offensive line really needs work because I do think that, they're allowing so many guys. The offensive line is just letting too many defenders get to Nico and forcing Nico to run a bit more than he needs to. And I do think that, of course, this is going to be put to the test against Tennessee. And it's also another thing with the Alabama is the fact that Bama is actually still ranked 7th after struggling with South Carolina, which I'll get to in a minute. But, however, I do think that, of course, Tennessee's going to have to step up if they want to win this game. And Tennessee's ranked number 11. And I will say this, that me personally, I don't agree with their ranking. And I'm not saying that because I'm a fan or anything. I'm just saying that because, Tennessee has always struggled with Florida. Like, Florida pretty much refuses to lose when it comes to the Tennessee game. And for Bama, they struggle with South Carolina. And of course, for South Carolina, I just think that, of course, Alabama, lost to Vanderbilt the week prior, which we'll also get to. But when they lost South Carolina, when they beat South Carolina, they won 27-25, and it was not really a pretty performance. And in this, and South Carolina was even ahead 19-14 heading into the fourth quarter, and of course sorry guys, I'm mumbling over my own words right now. But however, Alabama then scores to give them a 1-point lead after the 2-point conversion was failed, and then they get another touchdown, which made the score 27-19, and then South Carolina then gets a score to make it 27-25 after the 2-point conversion was failed. And South Carolina gets an onside kick recovery, but unfortunately the pass overthrown They're going in for the end zone, and the pass is overthrown and intercepted by Alabama to win the game. But I say this was a pretty good game, and I do think that for South Carolina, I just think that I really underestimated them, really. But I do think that for Alabama, it's going to be interesting to see how they come into Neyland. As like I said, they did lose to Vanderbilt, and the thing about Vanderbilt is this: they didn't lead any time in that game, and Vanderbilt's able to, and then Vanderbilt wins it, and Alabama came into this game, according to ESPN, with an 87.9 win probability, and then Vanderbilt just upsets them and I remember I was watching that game. They upset them and I don't even know how to describe it. I really don't, because when I heard Vanderbilt was up 13-0, I was like, Alabama's going to storm back and win. That did not happen. And now there's also a key player that I think needs to be watched for Alabama, and that is, of course, freshman Ryan Williams, who, let me tell you this, he's 17 years old, and he's already making big plays for this Bama offense, and he's even their leading receiver in the receiving yards. And, of course, you also have to try to stop Milroe as well, because Milroe can run pretty good, in my opinion. And I also think that, of course, on rushing, Milroe has 77 carries, and he's got 319 yards and an average of 4.1, and he has a long of 40, and got 11 touchdowns using his legs. So it's going to be interesting to see how can the Tennessee defense do. But I do think that, of course, another thing is that on defense, their leading tackler is, hold on, I'm trying to get his name here. Jihad Campbell. Sorry, I got confused because there's a John Campbell and Jihad Campbell, and I got confused. Sorry. Jihad Campbell at 51 is their leading tackler with 51 tackles, and I will say that this Alabama defense, from what I've seen, seems to be pretty good. But, however, Vanderbilt, of course, figuring out a way to get by this defense a couple weeks ago is interesting to see. And now, of course, I think you also have to realize that Alabama is a tough team to beat no matter who you are or what they're ranked. But I do think that, of course, to the fact that Alabama nearly losing to Georgia as well, after being up, I believe it was 33-7, and then Georgia coming back in two quarters, and then unfortunately for Alabama, they were able to get a touchdown right after Georgia took the lead, and after that Alabama won the game. So yeah, but I also think that, of course, they nearly lose to they don't do as good against South Carolina. Of course, they lose to Vanderbilt, and I do think that for Tennessee, I really think that they want to win this game. Now, of course, a perk of this game for this year is that it's being played in Neyland, and the last time this game was played in Neyland, Tennessee won. But I do think that, of course, you can go to last season, Tennessee was up 20-3. And then Alabama storms back and wins 34-20. And now I do think that, of course, for Tennessee, they're going to have to figure out what to do, because I'm not so sure about the offense performance from the last two games. I really think that this offensive line really needs to start getting a bit more better blocking wise, because and now it's not uncommon for a QB to rush, but I do think that Nico's rushing more than he needs to. And I do think that if Tennessee's going to get anything done on offense, it has to come through with the offensive line. You got to give your quarterback time to look downfield, throw the ball, and that's really how it happens. But of course, the Tennessee defense, however, I think it's going to be interesting to see because we'll know once more once Keenan Peely's injury status is released how Tennessee's going to do. Because now, in my opinion, they did pretty good against Florida without Peely, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens heading into Bama. So yeah, but I'm going to be honest. This game is a game I'm looking forward to because in my opinion, I think this game's a toss-up now. Who's going to win the third Saturday in October, and who's going to be smoking them cigars after the game? Let me know down in the comments down below. And all right, that's all I got for y'all for this week's edition of for this week's game preview. If y'all like this here, give a like, subscribe for more college football content. And also, like I said, please keep the hurricane victims in your thoughts and prayers. And yeah, so with that being said, peace out, God bless, and good night.